Hey guys, I've been playing a lot of Horizon Forbidden West recently, and I've got some stuff to talk about. I was a huge fan of the first game, Horizon Zero Dawn, and I didn't really think this game was ever going to come out. That is to say, I didn't think that there was going to be a sequel to an already self-contained masterpiece. So immediately, Horizon Forbidden West has to figure out what it is. And it's got to make a reason for it to exist. So to kind of wrap up the events of the first game, Horizon Zero Dawn wraps up in a way where Aloy and her friends beat an AI that's taking over machines and wreaking havoc throughout the world. So she goes and she fights this machine, she beats the machine, and everyone rejoices and has a great time. This game picks up with Aloy searching for a way to fix the ecosystem that's been quickly going downhill since the end of the first game. She's going in a smash cutscene situation from location to location, trying to find something that's called the Gaia system. So to start this game off, it kind of has to get itself back into the speed of things. So one of the things that I found a little bit taking me out of the game was the slow beginning. But if you can get through the slow beginning of this game, there is a phenomenal game to play. To avoid spoilers, I will stay away from main story points for the rest of this review until the spoiler section later, which you'll be notified on. The things that I did like in this game that I can say that won't spoil anything is, to start, let's talk about the combat. The combat of this game has been completely overhauled in a way that makes the game very tight, very fair. When you're fighting a machine, you always know what the machine can do, and it never feels like you're being taken advantage of by the game. Including, on top of all of this, they've revamped the skill tree from the first game, making many more distinct skills you can do and abilities that you can achieve through putting skills into different skill trees. I always found that if I was having a hard time playing this game, that maybe I would have a couple of skill points. I could throw a couple of skill points into the warrior trait, or the survival tree, or the hunter tree, and I would always get that little edge on whatever battle I was fighting in. Another good thing about this game is it's not unbelievably difficult, but when I was playing on normal, I would get killed pretty often if I misstepped or I mistimed dodge, or I got a little too aggressive and overconfident. There is definitely an easier mode. There's the story mode, which basically combat is a non-factor, and then it goes up to a hard mode where you'll die from anything. So if you are really interested in the slog of climbing through a game, the hard mode is the best one. But I kind of just wanted to see what the game had to offer, played the whole thing on normal. I found some of it difficult, some of it was a little bit easier, especially as I got higher and was ranked higher in the lower areas against machines that weren't necessarily for my skill level. But overall, the normal mode worked really well. Another thing I liked about this game is the graphics. It's insane. I didn't think that graphics could get much better than some of the high-end PS4 stuff, but I was blown away at every turn. The graphics in this game will blow your mind any location you go to. There are desert locations that look amazing. There are rainforest locations that look amazing. You can run through some snow-capped mountains. Every time you go through them, you're like, wow, it looks so good. Now, on top of how good the world looks, the character's face and the animation of the facial capture in this game is wild. When you're having a conversation with somebody, it has the camera, it kind of comes up on your character's face and the character that you're talking to. And there's little micro muscles in the character's faces that will move as they make their facial expressions. And every single time that it happened, it blew my mind. Because I was like, how did they do that? How did they catch that little of a detail? And it's something that you would miss if you weren't looking for it. But once I noticed it, every couple of cutscenes when I was watching these people talk, I was like, this is unbelievable. Speaking of talking, the script of this game is unbelievable. It's a very good script, and they took what they did really well from the first game, which is creating a couple of main characters for Aloy to talk to, and they ramped it up to 11, adding a bunch more characters and taking the characters that already exist in the world and giving them more things to do. So the two characters that come back in this game that aren't really spoilers because they're in the game from pretty much the jump are Varl and Erend. These characters were the standout characters from the first game, but when in the first game, the character, once you finish their side quest, they basically had nothing else to do till the very end. In this game, they have something to do the whole time. You can genuinely sit back and listen to these characters talk about life for hours, and they'll never repeat a line, and they'll never redo something or rehash something. So it never really feels like they're talking just so that the main character or you as the player are benefited, and more just because they're friends in the game and they'll talk about being friends in the game. The last thing I want to mention in the things that I loved section is that the world is built in a very good way. A lot of open worlds will get bigger for the sake of getting bigger, but in Horizon Zero Dawn, the map size is nearly the same. It doesn't really feel that much bigger than the first game, but it feels very full. They do a lot more with elevation gameplay, where instead of having the ruins be pretty much flat areas, you'll see places that you'll recognize. So like the main area that has been in all of the promotional material for this is San Francisco. So you can see the Golden Gate Bridge. You can swim through the Capitol. The city is alive, and you can see the skylines. You can see the beach line. Like, you can see all of it. It's fantastic. It's always done in such a way that makes you always say, "Oh wow, I know that place. Oh, that's cool. I recognize that." Or if they drop a name of a city, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's a place that I know of." So this game does a lot more with the locations that they've been given. Now, I'm not going to get into the things I didn't like super deep, because a lot of them are spoilers territories. What I'll say real briefly is the game doesn't really end in a way that is fantastic. It ends in a little bit sloppy. They end in a way that sets up a definite third game. There is a lot happening in this game, and it kind of all ends abruptly, and then there's like an epilogue that isn't very well done. The other thing this game doesn't do well is human-on-human combat. There are, like the first game, many rebel locations that you can clear out, and there's a couple of missions that you fight humans on. But when you're playing through these levels, the humans kind of feel like they're too tough to kill, and they kind of are on par health bar wise with monsters, but they don't do anything that interesting like the monsters, like the machines do. So the machines are more fun to fight than the humans are, but they still both have the same level of health. Now, I'm going to get into spoilers now. If you haven't played the game, sign out now. And if you have played the game or you just don't care about spoilers, let's get into it in 3, 2, 1. This game does suffer from misrepresentation of what it is. In all of the promotional material leading up to this game, it seemed like the main conflict was going to be between the main tribes of the Forbidden West and this rebel group that split off trying to gain power. They have machines on their side, they ride them, and it's like this big situation that it seems like Aloy is going to have to help solve as she searches for the Gaia system. But this game takes a left turn about halfway through, where Aloy is presented with the Zeniths. The Zeniths in this world are humans that left the planet when the robot rebellion was happening initially way in the past, and they went to the stars looking for a better world. In that time, they've created shielding that's impervious to damage. They've fixed the aging problem, so people have lived for thousands of years. And they've done thousands of years of technological advancement and like cultural advancement and all these things. So they come back to Earth looking for the Gaia system, which at first you're not sure exactly why, but it turns out that they're going to take the Gaia system and go terraform more worlds later. The addition of the Zeniths is a really interesting and cool thing. It does present a very interesting twist on what I thought I was going to be experiencing through the entire game. One of the best things that the Zeniths brought to the table of this game was a character named Beta. Beta is a clone just like Aloy, and instead of having her learn from the tribe that Aloy learned from to be a warrior, the Zeniths taught her all about physics and science and math, and basically turned her into an educational version of Aloy. And these two have this very interesting dichotomy and sisterhood-like bond, where it's really touching at the big points, and it's really fun at the kind of in between moments. Now, the one big problem I have with this game that I didn't want to get into in the non-spoiler section was the ending of this game is not done in a good way. The way this game essentially ends is in two levels. One level, Aloy gains the ability to fly on a robot, and she basically picks up what amounts to be a nuclear weapon, and she bombs the rebels. So thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel to be notified of future posts. I'm trying to figure out kind of a schedule to put out videos at the moment, but I do have a podcast that drops every Monday and Wednesday, which I'll link in the description below, or you can watch it on the channel here. I've been Josh. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.